Okay, everybody. Once again, good morning. Is it still morning? Good afternoon, I should say. It's 12:37. Today, we're going to be doing a little bit of talking about the engineering. I'm sorry. We're talking with Daniela Diaz, who's engineering for energies in Palma Real, talking about sustainability, and we're going to be going through a few things of what Daniela does on a daily. And Daniela, I'd like to pass it over to you to see if you'd like to enlighten us on what's going on there in Punta Cana.
Thank you so much, Adam. And thank you everybody for joining. Today we're going to see in a general way what do we have to offer to our guests, in not only in Dominicana, we also have in Mexico, all the program with sustainable tourism. So how do we live the experience, not only in a room, not only in with the environment, how do we have different options in the food and the gastronomy in general? And well, today is we cannot choose a better time to talk a bit about all these subjects. We're right now crossing a period on the modern history where the world got a little bit shake. So more than ever, we're going to have all our customers, all our guests wondering what can I do to do a best investment, what do I can do to make a best option, social support, how do I can make things different. So in this time, we cannot have and be afraid of the fear. We need to be like all enthusiasts together to recovery what is the industry. So here we're going to see, I will share the screen. Do we have it all in the screen?
Yes, there.
Perfect. Okay, so when we're talking about experience and sustainable experience, we will say, like we said, and talking about Mexico and talking about Dominicana, we have in Mexico 4 to 5 hotels. One is in process. In Dominicana, we can leave 5 actual hotels. Each one has a different brand, has a different mission, and it also have different experience. So we're going to see them. We're not going to get in technical terms. We also not going to get one by one of the hotels, but we will be available in the chat, or we also be available in the email if you want to have questions or want to know something related about the program in a specific of Destiny or hotel. So to make it a little bit more dynamic and talk about all the topics that involve the sustainable, we're going to see, like, if we're going and clicking on Google Earth and we just have the planet in front of us, and then we're going to make a zoom one by one of these 5 part of the presentation. So first, we're going to talk about the natural value. The natural value is when we're choosing a destiny, we cannot change the value that it's in there. We choose a beach because we want to see all the environment natural that has a beach. We also can choose, when we're talking about the natural value, we also talk about the animals that grow by a natural way there. So we can either choose them, they're all natural there. So when we're talking about Melia hotels, we have, we're so proud to have all this type of animals, all this type of environment inside the hotels. When we're talking, for example, Paradiso Los Cabos, that it's a specific destiny because it has beach on one side and desert in the other, and it allows you to swim. But why did I tell you this? Because Los Cabos is not actually a destiny to swim, but in this property, you can enjoy, we see here in the screen, that option. And there is something particular of the hotels inside of the brand of Paradisus and inside of this part of the destiny of Los Cabos. So when you tell to your customers, our future guests, you can really guarantee that they will swim in this part. And that's one of the advantages that we have in all of our hotels. All are swimmable, so that's the advantage you can assure since the first contact to them. So we have different programs with animals. We're going to talk only of the 2 most current, and this one would be the sea turtle here in the screen. You can see when we have the dates and the season for each one. This part is for Caribbean, and this part is for Los Cabos in Mexico. So we have in total 6 types of species of turtles, depending if it's in Caribbean or it's in the north of Mexico. We're talking about the Cabo. And well, when we say full experience, we say that full experience, it's really a full experience. I mean, in some hotels, you can only release the total, and it's only with the government, and it's a little bit tough for the guests. But when we talk about full experience, you can really make a complete life cycle. You know, you can see search with expert, always with the expert, because this is a analysis with government, but also with ONG. So we have available always sharing with us experience. They teach us how to make these workshops, and we also have it for the different brands and the different ages. For example, we can make the workshop for kids. We can make it a special moment for a wedding, and it also make the guests with a brief introduction how to do it by themselves. So you can search for the big turtles. You can also take care of the nest. You can see how actually the baby turtles are hatching, and we also can make the release. Talking about birds, well, bird experience is not for everyone. When you see that in most of the parks, they have it in nets, or they are with a string in the little legs. So that is not a sustainable experience at all. The advantage that we have, and the one that we respect in our hotels, is that you're going to only be treating with animals that are in the freeway. You cannot have it like in a like if you were interacting with them in a form that it's not responsible, we were not allowed in that program. So the only form that you can share with them is when you attract them. I mean, you attract with the food, you can enjoy the moment. You will also have a bio, and also you will have talking about with artists. So here we're going to share two different points: art, local art with the cows, and we also are going to share what is natural. You get in for example, in this type of experience, an artist that is going to be your host. He will talk to you about art. He will talk to you about the reason of the environment, how it's involved in that type of project, his or her art, and how you're going to do, for example, the measuring, getting the weight, pouring the ring, and doing all the experience without getting a bad effect in the bird or in the animal. So in the hotel atmosphere, we're getting that right now in the Zoom. We were talking about the environment. What is not in our hands is a natural form that we're going to enjoy in the experience, but we must protect them. Now we're going to get a little bit Zoom. What is in the architect, what is in the main hotel, and what is really in our hands to guarantee the guests that will enjoy. When we're talking about Melia hotels, you can be sure that we're not going to enjoy only the soul and this magic that you enjoy with all the furniture, with all the areas, with all the nature. I mean, you can see that we have different workshops, and we also have different programs with the community, where if you have maybe, for example, something of decoration, you will notice and you will have the opportunity to work in that it's made at home, that the plant we always grow. We don't cut plants only to put it like something beautiful. And we also have a donation program with that type of workshops. So another part we're talking about is that we keep the energy in different standards. We're not sacrificing what is the comfort of the guest. We keep it like that because we have different ways to measure what it's energy, to make it to earn energy. But we actually have a program that is with either Klima that you can assure that each of the rooms, that each of the restaurants, that each of the pool are measuring one by one, and they also have the way that they can scale how the guests like the temperature, how they like the light, but they always turn it out in the backstage, how it's going to be keeping safe, how to be earning energy in that. So when we're talking about transportation, you can also feel free that if you're going to get to one area to another one, you only have you don't have only one way. You can take the electric way and with the electric cars, or you also have for you to feel free in the areas a bicycle for your own. So that is another advantage that you can get in our hotels. The other form is that if you're in the beach, well, not all the beach and all the destinies are blue flag. What this is blue flag? This part is that you can be reading a book and you have your kids in other part, and you want to guarantee your guests that it can feel free and safe. That is the only way that you can certify that when you offer that service to a guest is allowing them to know that they have this advantage, because you have the security wall always. You have the sector of the sea that is in section. That means that if we have a boat tour, it will not get in that part, so you cannot be worried about it. You also can notice that if you feel secure in a zone, you will be feeling all the harmony. I mean, when you're not feeling secure, if you have all the soul and magic in all the areas, it doesn't matter. So one other guarantee you have in these hotels are about talking about security. For example, this is the newest security system and security plan that we have with talking about the fire station, the police station, that are inside the complex of Melia Hotels in Punta Cana. So it doesn't depend, it works independent from the government's station. And in case they're so prepared that in case of a big emergency that government needs help, Melia is also there for them. So that is the biggest guarantee you can have, that it's experience, that it's in our hands to guarantee that you will be feeling free in all the zones with that type of security. But also, well, if you weren't talking about certification and you say it's not enough, what do we also can assure that our guests? We also have the back of the tour, back of the house tours. It means you can go in the schedule that we have with activities team and see by yourself how that works the hotel backstage. You can see how the recycle doing, how do we do all the treatment with chemicals, how do we have the police station, how do we have all in order so you can feel sure in all this. And so we're going back to the Google Earth. We got the planet, what is already in our hand, and the environment. We also have the hotel, what it's in our hands to make the difference. But when we're talking about origin and final destination, this is a part that is like double responsibility, because when we choose a product, we need to know where it's come from and where it's going. So I will give you an example. For example, if you're in a restaurant and you receive an orange and you're not expert in orange or in fruit, you cannot notice if that orange comes from a farm near with a good standard or it's an industry orange. So the only way that you can assure your guests how is the origin of that product is being through all the certification that we're going to talk about, but also how is the process being that food, that drink, that room clean, and all that. When we talk with eco, sometimes we can hear that, oh, that product is eco-friendly. But if we don't have a certification of that, we cannot guarantee a guest if that is really going on. And sometimes it could be a worse impact on the environment or either in the people if we don't guarantee that process. For example, if we have a natural orchard, we need to be certificate that we have all the progress and all the process being with all the rules. We also, if we have a natural spa culture, it's talking about the rituals of the place. We don't. We can offer all the natural rituals and teaching the way that it's the local culture. We're talking about different regions, so different process, different rituals. We can also talking about what is going on with the trendy of well-being, what it's really a well-being process, what it's a really detox, what it's really natural, and not just want to offer one other product that you can see with other competence. No, you can see, like we said, since where it comes and where it goes. So when we're talking about the origin, this is really important. For example, when we're talking about circular economy, when we're talking about green economy, we're talking about all the networking that it's behind. For example, if we're going to do a green day, like talking about the last Earth Day, we don't only do the part of the guest experience, and we're not talking about only the activities of breaking down the lights or something like that. No, we're talking about what is behind that. We're talking about that It's a structured program that comes from the CEO. It's a structured program that comes from all the networking with suppliers, with associations like Hotel Association, with government, different persons that are involved to make all this possible. And so when we're talking about our stores, we're not talking about a gift or a giveaway. We're talking about life projects. For example, we have the three mains that are Rosa Mexicana, we have Oros Noche, and Beatriz Project. These are different focus of what we do with the people in the community. For example, this one allows us to employ all the different women that are in the violence program. So they get a recovery from that, but always focus to have a new style life. And without the economy, we cannot offer that. So that's the way that we can make the difference with also. But we have different cases, and all people make empathy with different causes. For example, if we have talking about animals, we have also this program that helps the animals, and we have so different stories. And like I tell you, we're not going to get deep in each one, but if we talking about making the difference, I could tell you just like this picture. We have a client in that case, I guess, that choose these cows, choose to help this necklace, but it didn't have a dog or it didn't have a pet to wear it. So the agent cell that was talking about the story about the cows, and he shared the photos when he went to that to the pet house, to the rescue pet house, and show you how it worked. That guest got so much empathy that decided to take one by itself and take all that the necklace. Now he had a dog to live the experience. So when we're talking to the complete cycle of green economy, we're talking about that, to be authentic, to guarantee our guests what is going to live and where it comes from. And like we said, we need that to certificate that, for example, with Crystal. Crystal allows us to make all the process with clean, with order, and with the best suppliers, so we cannot make mistakes on that process. But we're going to talk about final destination. We're talking about that we are right now in a learning curve in tourism industry in general, because we don't have in the world a manual that it says, oh, this is green, now you can do it like this or like that. No, we need to be reaching and searching in each destiny how to be a global standard and how to make it real for everybody. So here is the challenge, not only for us like hotels, it's a challenge for the government, it's a challenge for the local suppliers. So this part is always the part where we go and search and see each of one of our suppliers, where it's going, and we can have also the tour with the guests, so they can be always assuring that this process is real. We also have different measures and different standards that allow us to be a sustainable company, that is like, for example, air check. But also when we're talking about, for example, organic, we have this part of some hotels already developed their own compost. So here's an interesting part where you can see the guests that are smelling and touching the compost, and it doesn't smell bad, because when it's a real compost, when it's well done, we have it like this, the process that it goes natural and doesn't smell bad. So we were saying that we don't have in all the destinies, and of course in the ones that are in development process, they have a bigger challenge. So when we cannot make all the complete process of recycling, we have other causes. This we talk like, for example, with the plastic tops, we don't have in some destinies the way to recycle them. So we do is canalize them to another country or to another region where they can do that. And how do we do that? We make it through other programs. For example, these programs makes with a specific supplier and a specific ONG. For each, for example, Mexico, for each 1,000 of tops, they give a chemotherapy for kids. So this is the different form to make this challenge. This is a different form to make responsibility of the ending stuff. We also have a program that this program is really important to mention, because like traveler agents, this is the way that we need to make contact, to make a a new propose for you to make a new networking with all your customers, because when you let us surprise you, when you let us to tell you how can we make something special, talking for example of giveaways, when you give something, any product, probably there will be guests or customers that they already forget them in the same room they got the conference. But when we're talking with a cows, for example, in this case, it didn't. This initiative didn't be. It wasn't born with a corporate. It wasn't born in another ONG. We have here, for example, 2 employees that they saw the need of one community, and they said, "How can we make the difference?" And we also, on the other hand, had a group that it was coming help, and it said, "Okay, I want to give this time." I don't know. I thought it was a pen, and they said, "I want to give that pen this time. What can we do?" And they said, "We have all this type of wood that we can use for these cows." So they give it to them, and they make this difference. The group actually went and saw for their own how it's working, how the people was employed in that, and they now remain with that program. They have this available in Mexico for all the different groups that we receive. And it's a program that it's made because an agency and an agent traveler said, yes, we can do it different. So talking about activities, we went to the natural environment, then we go to the architecture, and then we go where all come from and what goes. And then we have, what do we do with time? Talking about entertainment, we have a complete guest experience team that is always making creative activities and different experiences. When we talk about experiences, we're not talking about just getting entertainment. We're talking about that you can always have a new enrichment in your life. You will always have something different from the culture, because sometimes we can get information and something that it's not on the destiny or it's not of that culture in specific. So this team assure you that they will have all the experience. For example, in this case, if we're talking of that it's Earth Hour activity, well, it's not just Earth Hour activity all day. We're also getting in contact with the rituals and the dancing and all the specific roles that culture lives in different part of its own history. When we're talking about our volunteers, that it's a trendy right now, you can leave it on all the communities for real, because sometimes we don't know how to help, like a guest, or we don't know if the hotel has a program. Well, this is the best part. Before you get to the hotel, you can know what you can participate. You can know how is the cows, because we're not talking about giving $1. We're talking about to be living the experience, to be sharing with the kids or with the older people. We are talking about to sharing a moment, not money in that case, how to be feeding a community that is in a high need. And also we have other type of activities. For example, if you're talking about spring break, if you're talking about other parties, you're talking about tattoos, for example, the Tattoo Fest, it has a cows. It looks all around the world for different artists that has a reason to give. They say different tattoos, so they go for a cows each one. So this is the different experience that you can see that we're not talking about that wellness or voluntaries or a planet day is not a fight with an entertainment activity. We have also activities and workshops that are already in all the hotels of talking about Mexico and Dominicana. And here is one, for example, So for Hope. So for Hope, it's for all the ages, and it's in partnership with Diversey. Diversey is our supplier from chemical products of hygiene. And so this is really important, because if we're talking about a hotel that it's having, for example, the soap, we're talking about 400 rooms hotel, and we're talking about that it will be more or less 300 tons of soap in that year. So the best form that we can do this is to be a rental product, to be a rental form to make a difference. We do it with all our coworkers. We do it with all our customers. How do we can share the moment with kids? How do we can share the moment with the cows? transforming the soaps through, like we said, a chemical process that is with standards and that it's allowed and is certified by the different agencies that we work. When we have different challenges in talking about, for example, Caribbean with the sargassum or the seaweed, we have this part where we have also workshops. You can talk, you can make different plant pots. Also, you can do wallet talk and some of other giveaways you can make by yourself, making a different. Also, if you don't want to take it with you, you can also dedicate it and we will make it to a cause. You can join us in the activity with kids, or also you can just let them and then we send you the photo where is that actually gift that you made. Depending of, we're talking, for example, of Los Cabos, that it's desert and it's beach. We also have activities where we have plants that are unique of the region. You only find that in Sahara's desert and in Los Cabos. So we have also that a collection plants that you choose by yourself, that with a team of activities and also with architecture team, you choose the if you want to keep it in the hotel or if you want to take it to the sponsored school that we have with each hotel that is from 20 minutes from the hotel. So when you come the next year, because it happens, we have guests that come year by year. They want to see that it's growing. They don't want to see a plant that, hey, where's my plant that I just left the last year? So the only form that you can assure that is when you have all the structure complete and you're going to give them the evidence year by year that it's growing, that it was made with a reason to be, not only because you want to get entertainment. So we're going to see where it's coming on with all our hotels in Mexico and Dominicana. We have what it's eco-bricks. Eco-bricks, we're talking about different type of plastics. So different type of plastic because, for example, with these ones, we're talking about plastic bottles. In this type of regions, they are not recyclable. So we need to look for a cause. And this cause was to make this type of walls or panels. And with the help of customers and the help of our coworkers, we make them in this size, for example, of talking about for secondary walls. I mean, where you can keep, for example, the sport stuff for the kids in the school, where you can keep the different trash containers separate, and all the different parts that it's necessary to keep with a wall or with a roof, but to make it rental is by this form. And also we have, for example, the eco spinning. By the time you are warming calories, you also are making the difference for the planet. So first, you're shedding the plastic because you will use it in the next activity. This activity will allow you to make like the conventional pottery, but in this case, the eco pottery, because you're using the plastic, and depending of the mold, you can make the different process. And this, it's again, you can choose if you want to do something to take home or also to dedicate for a local purpose. And we're talking about also another type of plastic work. This one, it's a little bit different because depending of the mold, it has a little bit more precision, the mold, so it can allow you to make these phone cases and other types of things. Where we're talking about recycling or giving a second chance, we're talking also of the furniture of the schools that we are sponsoring. This is a different project that it's already in Mexico, for example, where you can choose, we have different stories available, we have different furniture already in the hotel. So when we make this, it's also worked with very good with the build team when we have a convention. And when you choose the story, you can see what the kid likes, how it represents for itself. And we make the painting, we make all this before and after. And this, why do I tell you this part? Because when we're talking with a kid, or a child in general, that it has economic problems, that it has family problems, they cannot get focused in anything, and they also don't find a reason to keep studying. And if you add to that you see your furniture like this, because these are real photos from that school, so you see how they are living day by day, you understand better that there's not a form to make them believe in themselves if there's not someone believing in them first. So I really believe that it's better if you have one person, one guest that it's seeing them eye by eye and say them, hey, I made this for you. I really believe you can make it. And when we see that, we see the full difference, because if you say $1 or making an engagement with a kid, it's so different. And when also we have the coming soon of the different escape rooms, where in the escape room you can leave actually the culture in a different form. You cannot, it's not talking about escape. You will not going to like to escape after you leave it like that. You're talking about going level by level, knowing about gastronomy, knowing about the history, knowing about different happenings and magic moments. And that makes you know how was really the history of each one of these regions. So we went to the part talking about the environment, the hotel architecture, how do we live it in our free time, where the things come and goes. And now we're going to talk about the last chapter, that is our natural vice. We really believe that when we talk about a travel agency, when we talk about a supplier, when we talk about government aliens, we believe and we are sure that if they didn't share our values, if they didn't believe that we can make that the hotel industry makes the difference being rental, because the hotel is not fighting with these causes when we know how to provide a luxury service, but we know how to keep the quality in all the products. It's keep going an option to make it wellness, to make it eco, to make it green in general. So when we're talking about a team building, we can make an experience that we're talking about the wheelchairs, but we also have to offer you the different comforts that we want to have. Okay, a stand-up comedy that it makes empowerment my team, and I want to make it different. Okay, how can you do it with a couch? We have different shareholders that it's, for example, in this case, that they make the stand-up. They talk to you about teamwork. They show you the real cases. And we're talking about athletes with disabilities that make you have a fun, but also it moves you and also teach you, and they also make it real, because they make all the full sport activity with you in the hotel areas or in the outside. So we complement all these parts to assure you that you will be living experience, a sustainable experience, but with a luxury. We're also talking about the festival fashion show, where we for example, making all these dresses that are with recyclable, but they're made by different artisans and different causes. So it's a really good dinner dynamic where you can be enjoying the show, but you also have a cause, and your guests are voting for the best one, and they are expert because they also are expert models, so they know how to keep the attention with the guests. They know how to make it fun without getting any other type of bad experience or something like that. No, we're just talking about giving a reason to that type of shows. We can also have not only a silent party, we can also have a silent conference. When we have groups, for example, that they're going to talk something that it's a heavy subject, to maintain the attention, the best form we can do it is do it through this type of service, because you have all your full attention. You also have the perfect moment that when you're with the headphones, you also have the opportunity to make different happenings, to make different wow moments, and to play with all your five senses. So we also hear about a lot of what is going on with the eco weddings, how I can give that experience. So for example, this is the tree ritual. In this ceremony, what is specific, that is not you're going to get a tree and you're going to make that and that's it. No, it goes back a way. For example, we have the bride that it's preparing with its own family, talking, for example, in Los Cabos, that we were talking about two types of environments. So we have the sand of the beach, and we also have the sand of the desert. So one family received the ceremony first, always before of the wedding, of course, a private session with the local guru or with the local shaman, where they talk about the region, talk about emotions, talk about this big next step that the family is going to get. And the other, in the same time, the other family is making that ritual, but with the other type of environment and the other type of sand. So when we get on the moment of the wedding, they change the sands. One family gives to the other because it's a form to say that we don't choose where we get born. But then after that, one of each, for example, the bride has one type of water. It can be sweet water, and the other one has the salt water. So to make the difference, that each one going to give the personality and their own effort to the relationship. So when they are getting the water at the same time, they choose to close that cycle and start the new one. So if you want to take the plan, where you can take it, but also you will have to take in a process with all the airplane stuff and that. But if you also don't want to take it, you can do like other customers or other guests, where you choose to make dedicated to keep it in one of our ONGs and keep you sending the information, keep following how it's growing up and how it's going. And it's a symbolic form to make it eco. And well, this is the part that I really know that it's the most important for all, because we're not talking about that Melia or a hotel want to be our ONG, but we really know how, because we have more than 6 years doing this, and we know how we can involve a program for kids and for the childhood that it's really in need. Each region that it's in developing process country has so much needs that a government by itself can't make it. So that is why the private sector needs to get involved in this. So when you give a different experience to a guest, where they can live it, they can go and be watching how the kid is living, actually, how it's what they really need. We're not talking to give, again, $1. We're talking about if you see and you want to give just a pencil or a backpack or something, it's good to do it, but only to share in that moment is better. And also we have the different programs. Each hotel has different cases and different causes. For example, in Mexico, when we have this challenge for all the migrants that went from the south to the north, wishing to reach the American dream, they had this difficult challenge, and there being lots and lots and lots of child that get in the middle of that trip. So when we have that type of kid, we have to make it the process and go with all our ONGs, of course. And for example, of this team, these are different kids from different countries with different problems, with different types to see the life. And when we're talking again about needs, about money, about health, there is no way you can say a kid, just study, just go out. No, you need to make that change. And that change go to look out what they want to do. For example, in this case of these kids, we have a customer, a guest that it comes year by year, training them. And we also have another type of manager of the same hotel that loves to be in that project, that it doesn't have to do it because it's part of the work. No, it's because he feel it in itself. So when you see how it works, a guest, and how it works with the hotel, and they make a dream of these kids come true. For example, they won just last year the football champion with all the schools that are of the region. So you see, and they feel like they are all like the same kids. They don't have to feel that they are a group apart of kids. And so it's a way to give back to all the environment. It's a way to give back to our local culture. It's a way to we can join all the pieces together. And I am really, really, really sure that you will give us the opportunity to surprise you. You will give us the opportunity to give different ideas for the needs of your clients. And right now, agent travelers have one of the most biggest responsibility, because it's the way that we can reactive and recovery all the hotel industry. So I really know that you understand that all the people right now in this time, it's knowing about making things different. It's self-believing the role of the society they have. So when we come back, I'm really sure that you have the message, and you're going to let us again surprise you with these offers, making different and make it real. So we're going to pass if you have any curiosity in one part, or any question you like to know, or also I will let you have the information if you want to write, or also you want to contact through the sales department. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Daniela. Very well done, presented, talking about sustainability and making a difference. It's a very good learning curve for all of us.
Yes, definitely.
Any questions on your side, Natalie?
No, we don't have any questions. We have quite a few congratulations, interesting. Nancy says, very interesting your webinars, and she likes the virtual fam trips. She loves to join, and I know that Nancy joins a lot of our webinars. We have a few groupies now with, I see Angie, I see Gina, I see Christelle. So thank you so much for joining us. Merci beaucoup de vous joindre à nous. If I don't think you have any other questions here in the chat box. Looks very complete, your presentation, Daniela. Congratulations.
Thank you so much, Natalie.
And keep up the good work. There's a lot to be considered, and there's a lot to do, but we have the right track.
Absolutely, absolutely. Going through some of the slides that you were going through a second ago, Daniela, I actually was there in Cabo when they released the turtles, and I saw it. It's an amazing thing, and it's
emotional.
Emotional. Thank you for the right word. Yes, it's very much so. And we have to keep up with these things. So sustainability is very important to us, and we're going to try and keep it going. And I also love the picture with the kids playing soccer on a team. That's fantastic. Giving back is always a plus for me.
Exactly.
But we want to say thank you once again, Daniela, and thank you, Natalie.
Thank you,
to all of you that joined in today. We really appreciate you coming by, and if we can help you in any way, please let us know. All right. So on that note, I'm going to say have a wonderful afternoon. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys. See you tomorrow. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.